friends, kumusta? So, welcome back. For today's video, we will be talking about the RNIP or the Rural and Northern Immigration Pilot Program. We will also discuss about its updated participating communities because when it was launched, it was just have 2 communities, but now it has a total of 11 communities. This is not just good news for aspiring foreign workers here in Canada, but also for those who are planning to study here in Canada as an international student because they can be a permanent resident after 2 years of their studies. By the way, if you don't know me, my name is Jason Jim and I am making videos about international students, workers, and even residents here in Canada. So I suggest to hit the thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and I also suggest to hit the notification bell so that you will be updated every time that I post a video. And I also suggest to watch till the end of the video as I will be giving you the list of jobs in each participating communities for this program. In addition for that, I will also be giving you the list of schools for international students where can they choose a specific institution so that they can be eligible for this program. Are you ready? Let's begin. Okay, so what do you need to know about RNIP? So RNIP stands for the Rural and Northern Immigration Pilot Program. It was launched last year, early 2019, and it is a 5-year immigration pilot. This is also a community-driven program that is designed for helping smaller communities with aging population and labor shortages which struggle to attract and retain new immigrants. As you know, most of the immigrants wanted to go to the large cities, large provinces, so that these small towns and provinces, those immigrants don't want to choose these locations. Okay, so since this is a community-driven program, this is the list of participating communities. First one is in Ontario, which are the North Bay, Sudbury, Timmins, Sault Ste. Marie, and Thunder Bay. For Manitoba, Brandon, and Altona, Rhineland. In Saskatchewan is in Moose Jaw. In Alberta, in Claresholm, and in British Columbia, which are in Vernon and West Kootenay, which includes Trail, Castlegar, Rossland, and Nelson. So those are the participating communities included in this program. Okay, so let us now go to the eligibility of this program. There are 2 types of requirements that you need to comply for you to able to be eligible in this program. The first requirement is the IRCC eligible requirements, which is the federal government requirements. And the second eligibility requirement is the community-specific requirements. So once you complied the eligibility of IRCC, you also need to comply the specific requirements of a specific community. So for the IRCC requirements or the federal government requirement, the first one is the work experience. So you need to have 1 year continuous work experience for at least 1,500 hours in the past 3 years inside or outside Canada. For the second requirement for work experience, you need to count the work hours in part-time job or even full-time job which are paid. So it means to say that if you had a part-time work experience, you can just add it and you need to total of 1,560 hours for you to be eligible in this requirement. And I want to take note that the volunteering, internship, self-employment are not counted as your work experience. Okay, so the second IRCC eligibility requirement is the language requirements. Okay, so for the language requirement, you can choose either English or French examination. For the English, you can get the Canadian English Language Proficiency Index Program or the CELPIP, and the second one is the International English Language Testing System or the IELTS. And on the other hand, for the French examination, you can take DEF Canada or TCF Canada. In addition, there is also a minimum language requirement for your specific job that you will be applying. or what you call the Canadian language benchmark. So for example, if your job that you're applying is under the NOC A and B or the National Occupation Category A and B, your CLB should be 6. If you are under NOCB, you need to have a CLB 5. And if you are applying under NOC C and D, you should have the least, which is the CLB4. Please make sure that the result of your IELTS or CELPIP or your French examination must be less than 2 years old when you apply. And also later on, I will show you the list of jobs with the NOC or the National Occupation category so that you will know what CLB level or what is the score that you need to attain. The third one is the educational requirement. So for the educational requirement, you need to get an ECA or the Educational Credential Assessment. So you must get your assessment in a designated organization or professional body. They will give you a report that tells you what your education is equal to in Canada. Because for RNIP, you need to have at least a Canadian secondary school or high school diploma. So for example, in the Philippine setup, the secondary school, high school here in Canada is at least second year in college if you didn't take the K-12 education. And also, if you are a student, an international student here in Canada, you must have a post-secondary certificate, diploma, or degree. So the processing time and cost of your ECA may vary in each organization. And the organization and professional body of ECA are So after choosing one of the designated organization or professional body, they will tell you how to submit your documents to get your assessment. And I will link in the description box all of their websites for you to know more about these assessments. Okay, so for the fourth IRCC requirement, it is the settlement funds. So for the settlement funds, this is actually like a proof of funds in which you must have and you must show that you have enough money to support yourself and your family once you get here in Canada. So take note as well that as per CIC, you can't borrow this money from another person because you must be able to use this money to pay the cost of living for you and your family if you're here in Canada already. And for the settlement funds that you need, it will depend as well to the number of family members that you have. So make sure that you have this settlement funds ready in your bank, and this should be also in a Canadian dollars. For the fifth requirement, you must intend to live in the community. So as I have mentioned earlier with regard to the participating communities in this program, for you to be eligible is that you must plan to live in one of the community. So it means that upon application, you must aim to stay and live in your chosen community. But I want to note that it doesn't mean that you cannot move to other provinces or places. But upon your application itself, you must indicate and you must intend to live in that specific community. So those are the IRCC eligibility requirements that you need to comply. I will just add that, as I have mentioned earlier, one of the requirements of your work experience is to have a continuous work experience. But if you are an international student here in Canada, you will be exempted to the work experience criteria. Yes, it means to say that the work experience criteria, you don't need to comply on that because you already pursued 2 years studies here in Canada. So for the international students, you need to have a credential like degree, diploma, certificate, or trade or apprenticeship from a post-secondary education program of 2 years or longer. So it means to say that you studied full-time in the duration of 2 or more years. You also received the credential not more than 18 months before your application for permanent residency. And also, you were in the community at least 16 months of the last 24 months spent studying to get your credentials. So it means to say that you need to have these requirements when you are studying here in Canada before you apply for the permanent residency. And those are actually the eligibilities of international students if they are taking a post-secondary program. But also, if you will be taking a master's degree or higher, these are your eligibility requirements. Okay, so I just want to reiterate again that in choosing a program, you must have 2 or more years for you to be eligible in this program, and you will be exempted for the work experience criteria. And as I have told you earlier in the video, stay tuned because I will give you the list of schools and colleges and their tuition fees so that you know where to choose or where to study for you to be eligible in this program. Alright, so we are now done with the IRCC eligibility requirement. And the second eligibility requirement for the RNIP is the community requirement. So like what I mentioned earlier, each community has their own specific requirement that you need to comply. As I have mentioned, this is an example in Timmins, Ontario, for you to know more about the specific community requirements. And as you can see, you need to click the website indicated in the IRCC. And this is the website, and it will be indicating the step 1 of this process and also the step 2. And also it all indicates the list of employments that you can choose. And if you go down more, there you can see the step 3 that you need to provide and comply. And for the step 4, it is about the application in this community. So you need to provide some documents and you need to comply and fill out the forms indicated. And there is also like additional payment that you need to pay for the processing fee. And lastly, you can also check their poster on how and what is the process step by step for the permanent residency application. Okay, so the second thing that you need to have for the community requirement is the job offer. So you must have a genuine job offer to work in one of the participating communities. In your job offer, you must have a full-time job, which is like at least 30 hours paid hours in a week, and your job offer should be a non-seasonal work. So it means to say that it should be consistent and regularly scheduled paid employment throughout the year. So your job offer must also be a permanent employment. So there is no set end date to your work. And also, your experience must show that you can perform the duties of your job offered to you. So the work experience outside Canada that you will be applying or will be declaring is also the duties that you will be performing in your job offer. And the last thing that you need to know for your job offer is your skill level. So your skill level, it should be on the same skill level. It should also a 1 level above or also 1 level below for your skills and for your NOC. So for example, and I will also link in the description box below the NOC website so that you will know what NOC skill level you need to obtain. So as I have promised, these are the current available jobs in the participating communities of this program. For Sudbury, Ontario, Timmins, Ontario, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, Thunder Bay, Ontario, Brandon, Manitoba, Altona, Rhineland, Manitoba, Claresholm, Alberta, and Vernon, British Columbia. So those are the current available jobs in the participating communities. So I will also link in the description box all of the websites of the participating communities. So please note that for North Bay, Ontario and Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, there is no indicated website in these two participating communities because these are still coming soon. And also for the West Kootenay, it indicates that you need to find a job through indeed.ca and Kootenay Jobs. And I will also link in the description box where can you find these two job opportunities. So let us now go to the Rural and Northern Immigration Pilot Program application process. So as you can see, there is a chart for applicants for you to know what will be the process of RNIP. So the first one is that you need to ensure your eligibility. As I have mentioned, you need to comply the IRCC and community-specific requirements. And then you need to find unemployment in the community. And once you already found unemployment, your employer will give you an offer of employment for you to apply for the community recommendation. Yes, the community should recommend you from the job offer that you get from your employer. So again, you can see the website in the description box and you should register and provide your details for you to be recommended by the specific community. And after you got your recommendation from the community, that's the time that you need to apply or submit your permanent residency application. And once the federal government provided you approval for your PR application, you will be given a work permit. So take note that this work permit is actually for 1 year while waiting for your permanent residency application to be approved. So it means to say that the type of work permit that you will receive is a restricted work permit specifically to your employer and to the participating community. And the good thing about this application, your spouse or common law partner will also get a work permit same as yours, valid for 1 year, but also it is a restricted work permit. And with regard to the RNIP application process, these are the fees that you need to know if you will be planning to apply for this program. Okay, so those fees are actually specifically for Philippines, but I will link in the description box below where can you find the website for you to know more about the specific fees for your own country. Okay, so for the aspiring international students, I know that you are waiting for this part. As I have mentioned, that you will be exempted for the work experience criteria if you studied for 2-year program or more in the communities that I mentioned earlier. So I will now give you the list of schools and colleges which are also a designated learning institution that you can apply for you to be eligible of this program. In addition to the schools and colleges, I just want to inform you that these tuition fees are based on business-related programs per year. Alright, so just a disclaimer that these information, especially the schools and colleges, are my own research and I just wanted to share what I have found. So please make sure that you will choose a public funded schools and institution by the federal government of Canada. And I just want to let you know that the schools and colleges that I provided are also a designated learning institutions and offer PGWP or the post-graduation work permit in case you decide to study for only 1 year, and you will still get 1 year work permit, which is the post-graduation work permit. So for the aspiring international student, if you are looking to have a direct pathway for permanent residency, you may choose these schools and colleges, and you can also go to this participating community for you to have a direct pathway to your PR. And those are the information about the rural and northern immigration pilot that I have researched. All of their websites are in the description box below, so you should check it out. So thank you so much for watching, and I really hope that this helps you decide and want to know more about this program available in Canada. So thank you again. My name is Jason Jim, and don't forget to hit the thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and I will suggest to hit the notification bell so that you will be updated every time that I post a video. Thank you again. See you to my next video. Bye.